cocktails attached to kites on fire and attempt to fly them into Israel to cause as much destruction as possible. When asked yesterday why he put a swastika on his burning kite, the terrorist responded, quote, "The Jews go crazy when you mention Hitler," unquote. This is what is endangering the people of Gaza. Make no mistake, Hamas is pleased with the results from yesterday. I asked my colleagues here in the Security Council, who among us would accept this type of activity on your border? No one would. No country in this chamber would act with more restraint than Israel has. In fact, the records of several countries here today suggest they would be much less restrained. Those who suggest that the Gaza violence has anything to do with the location of the American embassy are sorely mistaken. Rather, the violence comes from those who reject the existence of the State of Israel in any location. Such a motivation, the destruction of a United Nations member state, is so illegitimate as to not be worth our time in the Security Council, other than the time it takes to denounce it. Yesterday's opening of our embassy in Jerusalem is a cause for celebration for the American people. Moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem was the right thing to do. It reflects the will of the American people. It reflects our sovereign right to decide the location of our embassy, a right that everyone in this room claims for their own country. Importantly, moving our embassy to Jerusalem also reflects the reality that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. It has served as Israel's capital since the founding of the state. It is the ancient capital of the Jewish people. There is no plausible peace agreement under which Jerusalem would no longer remain the capital of Israel. Recognizing this reality makes peace more achievable, not less. The United States is prepared to support peace negotiations and a peace agreement in every way. We want nothing more than peace, a peace in which people of all faiths are free to worship in Jerusalem, a peace in which the rights of all people are respected and the future prospects of all people is bright. That peace will only be achieved if it is rooted in the realities that too many choose to deny. The United States' action yesterday promoted the reality and the desire for peace. It is our sincere wish that the nations of the world will join us in this pursuit of credible, realistic, and enduring peace. As I conclude, I want to take a moment to mark the 70th anniversary of Israel's independence. In this United Nations Security Council, on behalf of the American people, I congratulate our friends in Israel on the remarkable achievement of 70 years of independence. From humble and desperate beginnings, a proud people have realized the prophet Isaiah's vision of a light unto the nations. May the next 70 years be ones of strength, of hope, and of peace. Thank you.
I thank the representative.
There are the remarks from U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, speaking at this emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. They are pointing a clear finger at Hamas and Hamas solely for the violence that has broken out and claimed some 60 lives there in Gaza on the border with Israel. Also saying once again that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel and saying that no possible peace agreement can be reached without that recognition. The argument from the administration and Nikki Haley here is that taking Jerusalem off the table in negotiations with Palestinians makes peace more achievable, not less, in her words. That is not the view of the Palestinians and is not the view of them in the wake of the U.S. Embassy opening yesterday in Jerusalem. Let's go to our Ben Wiedemann. He joins us live from Gaza. Ben, look, two things struck me. One, the separation that Nikki Haley made between Hamas and the Palestinian people, saying it is Hamas that is making the lives of the Palestinian people miserable, and then saying once again, making very clear the U.S. stance here is that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel without a mention of East Jerusalem whatsoever as potentially being a capital for the Palestinian people.
Yes, and that's that's been the line we've heard from the Trump administration fairly early on. And it continues. And certainly you can find many sides of this argument. Is Hamas the cause of the plight of the Palestinian people or not? Certainly Hamas has made plenty of mistakes. The Palestinian leadership is divided between Hamas and Fatah. I'm just turning around because there's one of these Israeli drones about to come overhead and drop their tear gas onto the relatively small crowd we have today, certainly compared to yesterday. But I have to tell you that speaking to people here in Gaza, and I've been coming here now for almost 30 years, there is a fundamental belief that the Palestinian people have been wronged. They have most 80, I think 80% of the population here are either refugees or the children of refugees, and there is a deep felt sense that justice has not been served. And on a practical level for ordinary Palestinians, particularly here in Gaza, life is bleak. I believe, according to the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics, something like 44% of young men between the ages of 20 and 24 are unemployed. There's more of those that tear gas. And for many of these young men you're seeing out here today, they have nothing else to do. They have no jobs, no opportunities. And when they look across the border at the prosperity of Israel, they put the blame on them. Poppy?
Ben Wiedemann reporting for us live from Gaza. Thank you to you and your team, obviously putting your lives at risk, being there, bringing that reporting to us. We are also following breaking news concerning the president's pick to head the CIA. Gina Haspel, a new letter that she sent talking about torture tactics used while she was at the CIA. Much more ahead on this breaking news.